Electrical, and I am a project management consultant. I've worked with John with Because Business Resources for a few years now.
And
And my background is in construction.
yes, he is excellent in systems and methods. And Asana Anderson is my son. He's got a degree in digital media, and he'll be available for technology. And Janice Forbes. Janice will be in and out of our meeting today. Janice has a background in HR and marketing. There are a couple of other people that won't be here today, but will be involved in the program to come, and that's Dan Marsh, who's an estate planning attorney with Marsh, Higgins, and about 4 other names after that. It's a Vancouver law firm. And Bob Chase, who's just retired. He's a CPA who has just sold his practice in Longview, and now he's going to be doing valuations exclusively. So let's get started, and we're going to talk today about, if you take a look at the course overview, the first bullet is discover why exit planning is mission critical and why you need to begin now, even if you plan to stay in your business for years to come. Let's see, we can get rid of this part of the screen.
I don't seem to have that.
Oh, look at, yes, there you go. Thank you. Now let's see. Okay, Patrick, my slider, what am I doing wrong here? Or it needs to be turned on. Helps forward. There you are.
Good point.
Not going forward.
I tested it.
Well, yes, here, why don't we just advance it until we get the technology squared away? That's all.
Maybe it's the PowerPoint.
There's a number of risks that we have. We all risk. When we wake up in the morning, we have risks. When we drive to work or don't drive to work, we have risks. There's 4 fundamental risks that I'd like to talk about to begin with. And the first I call the truck. The truck is a symbol of some instantaneous change that when it happens, all of life from that moment on is different. It could be a fire. It could be some criminal action. You get mugged or there's a holdup. But it's something that when it happens, all of life is different, or your business life is different. Then the next risk.
Just jump up where you were.
Okay, it's never too early to begin planning your exit strategy. So we talked a little bit, we're going into the risks, the benefits, and the costs. A common risk is that 80% or more of all businesses close before the owner is ready. And we were talking a little bit about the risk. The next is the diagnosis. I use the diagnosis as an example of something happens, but it's not instantaneous. On the face of things, there's no difference in your life. You go in to get a medical check because it's just a wise thing to do. You do it every couple of years. You get a phone call later, and the laboratory has run some tests, and oh, by the way, there's something going on. And your life is not going to be the same in 18 months, or 3 years from now, or 5 years from now. All of a sudden, there's a date on the calendar when you're not going to be able to be doing what you've been doing the way that you've been doing it. It's not instantaneous like the truck, but all of a sudden your life is different. You hang up the phone and your priorities have shifted. And you're looking at your life differently. You may get your hat and coat and walk out and take a little walk around the park or drive home and talk to your family. Some other situations around the diagnosis involve you're a General Motors dealer and you get an announcement from General Motors that, oh, by the way, your contract will be expiring at the end of the year. or there's government regulations that are going to prohibit you from using certain chemicals or certain processes that you've been using successfully for years. There's an advance warning on it, but all of a sudden you get news that life is going to be different. The third is the lottery. Now we think that the lottery is a wonderful thing, and how could the lottery ever be a risk? Well, I suppose I'm looking from the perspective of your organization, from your business. If all of a sudden you hit the lottery and you get $25 million, and you turn to your partner and you hand them the keys and you say, oh, I'll be back and help you from time to time. And then you think about it and say, probably not. Or your partner or your key employee hits the lottery and he turns to you and he hands you the keys and tells you he's not going to be back. And now all of a sudden the handcuffs go right back on you and you're doing your job plus whoever just hit the jackpot. The fourth is just sheer exhaustion. You're successful. You've beaten the odds. You've been in business 10, 15 years, but you're still required to be in your business. That is exhausting, that kind of responsibility, week after week, year after year, for 10, 15 years, and you're required to be there. Some examples are professionals, engineers, doctors, attorneys, medical people. They have this huge overhead of an office that they're running and keeping track of with administrative people, and if they're the dentist and they're not filling cavities, there's no money being made. Now, sometimes they're able to develop their practice so there's other dentists, other doctors, and they become more of an office manager. But that's not usually the perspective of a professional engineer. They like doing engineering. So that's the fourth major risk. Now, you cannot plan. A lot of us, we do a certain amount of planning, and there's always things that are going on. There's the demands of the operation, there's the customers, there's the payroll. It takes time to plan. But if we don't plan, then an emergency can occur, and all of a sudden you can be out of business. If you don't plan, your family can suffer. And you know, and you've seen it with colleagues of yours, that in a matter of a few days, there's like a triple punch. Somebody gets ill, there's an automobile accident, and then something else goes south. There's a calamity in the office of one kind or another, a triple punch, and they're gone. The sign goes up in the window, and they were there last week, and they're not there this week. Today, we're beginning our planning. Strategy mitigates risk. This is a way that you can increase the value of your company, have greater flexibility, more time, and more personal income. Strategic planning outperforms to-do lists. We have to balance the long-term development. If all we do is development, it's like marketing. If all we do is marketing, well, who's paying the bills? How are we generating enough revenue to pay for all the marketing, the advertising, the promotion? Well, the same thing comes with planning as well. It has to be done in moderation. But you have to ask yourself, can the business operate without you? And what are the time and the resources that are needed to do effective training and to implement your plan? And then if you crash and you don't have a good plan, because it's better to have a plan, a set of blueprints, that if some calamity occurs, you may not follow the plan exactly, but by having a plan, at least you've got some options that have been thought out in advance. As entrepreneurs, we all think that we see a straight shot to success. How could we fail? I can see it so clearly. But along the line, we go wandering around, and the success flag can sometimes look like it's upside down. So the first thing is asking yourself, how prepared are you now to exit? And how many days, business days, has your firm operated without you being there over the last 6 or 12 months? And how many days could it operate if you were suddenly hospitalized? is someone trained that can run the business without you on a short-term basis, or if you died suddenly, do you have a will and an estate plan so that the business could actually continue? Do you have multiple signatures on your account? Is it a corporation or is it a proprietorship? In both of your cases, they're corporations. And do you have an IRS-approved way to value your company in case you have to make a fast transfer? So we're going to do a quiz right now. I'd like to invite you to go to becausebusiness.com/SE-quiz and take a short 10-minute quiz where you'll answer questions, and then we'll pick up from there.
Can I see that address?
Oh, sure. Oh.
Could you go ahead and re-say that George has joined us and just instruct him to go ahead and go to that site? George jumped on, so
Right.
he can hear you,
Okay.
but if you can just talk to the computer, you don't need to click on anything.
Hi, George.
It's not,
It's John. If you want to go, you can probably see on the slide, if you can go to becausebusiness.com/SE-quiz, and you may not be able to do that at this time, but we'll walk you through that later, George. But it's a quiz. It takes about 10 minutes. It's about 10, 12 questions. And we'll be picking up as soon as we're done with that quiz. What you text?
already, no, I can.
I'm just wondering whether we could move the laptop because the HDMI cord has some distance to it. Okay, you don't think the audio is being okay?
steps are we supposed to complete?
Well, I think what we should do is we will move along wherever we're at. We can go from here. But I think it's good to move forward because, and the next piece, there's some, so let's see, what questions are there? Are there any questions about that first quiz? We made it a quiz with scoring. There's no right answers or wrong answers. We do reveal some of our biases, some of our opinions. We tried to make it a little light. Do you have any questions or suggestions or ideas about that initial quiz?
No, I don't
think so.
I think it was pretty straightforward.
Okay, good.
You're gonna summarize and give us a lump sum?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we will. Okay, so let's move forward. And we're going to be talking now about actually beginning your smart exit strategy, the plan. And we see strategic planning as having three fundamental components. What is the history of your company? What is your current circumstance? And what is the opportunity? Now, we're going to give you another quiz-like questionnaire to fill out. And what we'd like you to do is to put a sentence or two about the history, 2, 3, or 4 sentences about your current circumstance, and then a few more sentences about what is the opportunity that you face. Now there's 2 places the opportunity may come into play. What is the business opportunity that you have, and then what is the opportunity that you have to prepare to develop your business for transition and exit. Different people have different strategies depending upon their situation. Some people are looking for an investor, some people are looking for a partner, some people are looking to cash out and sell. Some people may wish to bring family members in, and some might wish to bring employees in. There's different strategies, and that really comes down to looking at what your opportunities are. Jeff is saying hello here. Your plan has to be practical, but you want a plan that can be implemented by your heirs in the event that that ever needs to be done. And over the next 4 weeks, we're going to be going through step-by-step important business sale topics. And you'll write these elements into your business plan. And we'll support you in building a realistic plan so that your after-tax money in your retirement account is as much as you can make it. And you reduce the risks along the way. Speaking of risks, I'd like to introduce Mr. Risk Avoider. Here's Jeff Mays from the Mays Agency, our host today.
Hi and welcome. Thanks for being here today. Glad to see y'all enjoy this time here. Hopefully it's comfortable. Enjoy it. Whatever you need, let me know. Appreciate y'all being here. And when it comes to risk, that's what I do. I help small business owners avoid and maintain their risk. So I want to make sure that the maintenance it's away and you don't have to face it anytime that you don't need it. So thanks, John.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all being here.
There's a couple of parts to risk and insurance that involve exit. And one is key person insurance and buy-sell agreements that are backed up with insurance and employee dishonesty and other elements along the similar line. After we conclude today's session, we're going to be offering a confidential meeting where we can talk about in a more depth way about your business valuation, both what your business valuation is now and then how can it be improved to be at the point that when you're ready to sell, it's at a point that you're interested in making it. Now, there's a next piece, and that is that if you go on the bottom of the Google page that you were on, the becausebusiness.com /SE-exit. If you scroll to the very bottom of that page, you're going to find a link on the left-hand side that says Step 1. Have you all found it and gone to that next page? There you go. Yes, it's the one. Do you see that link, Rich? It says Step 1? Okay, great. Now, you're going to have an opportunity to go back and write more about the history and the current circumstance in the opportunity. So that's why we're suggesting that you go through it quickly and you just put a couple of sentences in at this point to just begin to get the structure down. As you go deeper into this form, some of the questions are more complex and they involve more thought. And again, at this point, this is an opportunity for you to put just a sentence, 2 sentences, you can put bullet points, just a couple things that are going to help you to come back to build on. Any one of these you can spend an hour or more on, and that will stop your overall progress. What we want to do is we want to get you started from the start to the conclusion, or today's conclusion, that you've got a whole picture expressed, and then you can come back in future days and build on it.
Yeah, right there, right at your feet.
I mean, for a laptop.
Yes, I have another laptop.
What size is it?
Well,
You can
here,
come over here.
we've got a second laptop.
Might work, I've got mine over here.
I'm a little-
Let
probably right now.
Second. Oh, I got it. I'll get it on.
Right.
Wait, that won't work. Yes, you got it.
And he started smoking.
Yeah. It doesn't get unplugged very often, so I think the battery's pretty well.
Yeah.
Works.
We've had that.
We brought extra machines.
Yep.
It's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're set.
I'll
Okay.
get back with you.
Should. We'll see.
That one, there's another plug on this one.
Yeah, we could.
Yep, just in case, didn't wanna do too much.
The spelling count?
No.
Okay.
Mhm. Yep.
Like a soft jazz.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking that. Couldn't figure out what to play. Yeah, I got some jazz.
Connected.
Why do I keep hearing Jeopardy music?
What's that?
Why do I keep hearing Jeopardy music?
Jeopardy
Dun, dun,
Oh,
dun.
yeah. Really?